All right, welcome back for episode 4 of Limitless Nerd. I am really excited to have two great guests today, Will, or Will of the Force, and Grayson, Mortis FM. Together, they are Determined Focus.
Yes, we
Guys,
are.
thank you for being here.
Dude, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us on.
We are,
Yeah,
we are, well, we appreciate your support and we appreciate you just being willing to have us on. So,
yeah,
yeah, excited
yeah,
to be
for
here.
sure. Y'all were actually one of like the first people when I started. I was like, gotta get Will and Grayson on
Yeah.
at some point. But before we dive into talking about y'all's show, I just kind of want to go and ask you guys what what was the beginning of your journey with Star Wars? Where did that come into your life? Were you kids? Was it later? You know, what was the beginning of your Star Wars journey?
Yeah. Um, Will, who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
You go.
Okay. Um, I don't know. I feel like it's like there's not really a streamlined story to it. It's kind of one of those things where I'm like, I existed and there was Star Wars, you know? Um, my earliest memory of like the youngest me consuming Star Wars was when I was like probably 2 or 3, and I remember as like a toddler walking or running down the kind of aisle of a movie theater as the Battle of Geonosis was happening. Whether that is a true memory or not, I don't know, but I do remember that, so I'm going to take it as that. um, but my dad is a huge Star Wars fan. He got me kind of into this whole thing. We're still into it together. And so again, I maybe Attack of the Clones was the first one. I don't know. I do know that my mother was very very pregnant with me when the Phantom Menace came out in 1999. Um, so that probably also has something to do with it. But yeah, I think I remember I just like I was there and Star Wars was there. And so I don't remember specifically like which one I started off with. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, I just know Star Wars. I just started playing the Star Wars video games, whether it was Lego Star Wars on the PS2. Or I even think we were talking with Brickmaster Harry recently. I think even before my PS2 getting the complete saga, the first Lego Star or sorry, not complete saga, the first Lego Star Wars, Lego Star Wars 1, I also had it prior on the Game Boy Advance, and I believe that was my first game ever.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah. So Lego Star Wars, and then I think the Revenge of the Sith tie-in game. I had both on the GBA.
I feel like you're
And
telling my story right now.
yeah, well, being a prequel kid, it's like you kind of a lot of us have a lot of shared experiences, a lot of core memories, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I kind of have always been into Star Wars, and it just continued to grow and grow, and um, yeah, I don't like I said, there's not really a streamlined story to it, but that's kind of how it happened, and it is stuck with me ever since. It has been one of the very uh, few interests or constants that I have had in my life, and I don't really think it's going away anytime soon. So that's kind
Yeah.
of where it started for me.
Will, what about you?
Yeah, truly, there has not been a time in my life where Star Wars hasn't been around. Um, like I know the first time I ever watched Star Wars was at my grandmother's house. Sent me upstairs because I was just being a rowdy kid. They were like, "Oh, go do something else," because I was the only child at the time. Everybody was adults. Um, and they were like, "Oh, just go upstairs with some holiday or gathering or whatever." And for some reason, my grandparents had purchased the special edition box set for the original trilogy, which had just come out the year prior. Um, and I have no idea why they did that. My grandparents are not Star Wars fans. I mean, they like Star Wars as much as like a normie does, where they're like, "Oh, cool, Darth Vader," but they're not like just
Yeah.
watching the films or whatever. But they did have that, and I opened the box because I was a nosy kid and saw Rip. to Drew Struzan, the fantastic artist who we just lost, but I saw his art for the original trilogy special edition. So A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. And Return of the Jedi, that cover is like a little bit of a different color scheme.
Yep.
The other two are like vaguely blue and yellow and red. They have like the same kind of tones. And then that cover for Return of the Jedi is like super green and blue. So I picked that one out, and I knew how to use the VHS tape at that point because I was a nosy kid who liked plugging stuff in. So plug that in, and yeah, I've been a fan ever since. Toys, Lego, movies, TV, comic books, whatever it is. I have not been able to shut up about Star Wars since.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both of your stories have elements of mine, and I think that's just a factor of the kind of era of Star Wars that we grew up in.
Right.
We had the original trilogy. We were towards the end of the prequels coming out, and then you go into video games like you said, Lego Star Wars. I was a big Battlefront 2 kid.
Of course, yeah.
Force Unleashed, the Episode 3 tie-in game is one that I think more people need to talk about.
Yeah, dude.
So just yeah, our Star Wars generation, other than being there in '77, I feel like our Star Wars generation is probably the next best thing.
Right. Yeah, there was a.
You know.
It was a. I mean, that was. I mean, there was at least a good 20 years where Star Wars movies and stuff were not coming out, and you had kind of the interim group, and then you had our group, which was the prequels. So it was a great time to be a Star Wars fan, dude. I do not take it for granted at all.
100%. Yeah, I mean, and Will, you say you haven't stopped yapping about Star Wars, and that brings me to Determined Focus. What was kind of the origin story of you guys as creators, and then bringing what both of you were doing together into what the show is now?
Yeah.
Grayson, you had a podcast before Determined Focus, though.
Well, yeah, I'll tell the story prior to Determined Focus, then I'll pass it on to you, and I'll let you tell the rest of it because there's an overlap there. So I'm not shy about telling the story because I want to give credit to my best friend in the whole world, who we started this together. So around the time of Ahsoka, when it was starting, obviously, again, I've been into Star Wars, talking about Star Wars for a long time, and Cole and I, we started a podcast called Mortis FM, a Star Wars podcast. Around that time, we were like, hey, we have these discussions all the time in our free time. We'll sit here in a chat for hours talking about stuff. I'm like, why don't we just record this, man? I'm like, we talk about it so much already. And so we brainstormed a name and everything like that. And we were like, all right, we've got it down. Let's line this up with the debut of Ahsoka season 1. And the long story short is we did the podcast very regularly for almost 2 years. Around the time that Andor season 2 was coming out, we had started to feel a little bit of burnout. I think we started to feel a little bit of burnout even before that with the fandom's reaction to the Acolyte. And that kind of carried over into Skeleton Crew, which we were both very big fans of Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, but it kind of became not as fun to publicly talk about Star Wars because people were being not great about it. And so we kind of took a little bit of a break, and then we kind of tried to get back on it again, but like things just kind of, I think for both of us, were not exactly the same. Backtrack a little bit. I met Will alongside Cole did as well around about a month into us even doing the podcast. We had a lot of other fellow creator friends and stuff, and so throughout this entire time, I had been doing stuff with Will. We do a book club or book podcast. That's kind of a group initiative with ourselves and Connor and Seth at Beyond the Dune Sea, which are also a great Star Wars podcast, good friends of ours. We've known them just as long. And Yeah, so around the time that Andor was coming out, or Andor season 2, I should say, we Cole and I were doing the podcast, and then it kind of became clear that like I think there, while I wanted to keep doing some Star Wars stuff, Cole had other priorities. This is not like a secret or anything, and so we were kind of like I think we should maybe kind of restructure it, and he had given me his blessing to kind of take the mantle of Mortis FM and make it my own thing. And around the same time, Will had asked me to be the permanent co-host of Determined Focus, but I will let him tell kind of the initialization of his creation, his own personal content creation, and then also how he got to Determined Focus. So I passed the baton to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to look up. I think the first. So I had done. I was trying to do a podcast that was solo for a little bit. I had always wanted to do like an interview series.
Yeah.
I I've always been interested in that, even not in like just the Star Wars niche. I've always been like into talk shows, and that's like most of my heroes are like Conan O'Brien and like David Letterman, and like those guys are the people who I look up to when it comes to like people who are just like creating and talking and like being entertainers. Um, and obviously, Star Wars is like where most of my focus is, whether I like it or not. It's stuck in my head. So I was like trying to think of a way to do things. And originally, the idea was have somebody on, and it was like you pick your favorite scene in Star Wars. So the creator would be like, hey, this is my favorite scene. They would come on, and for as long as they wanted, we would break down that scene and just ramble about that for anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half, about 90 minutes. And I loved it. I did 2 episodes. We talked. Grayson mentioned Connor and Seth from Beyond the Dune Sea. Connor was the first ever guest I had on that. And we talked about his favorite scene in Star Wars, which is my favorite scene in Star Wars as well, of the end of Return of the Jedi, where Luke fights Vader and then Luke throws away his saber at the end of that film, which is my favorite Star Wars movie. So we did that, and then I had Hannah on from the Ray side, who also phenomenal creator. Lucky to have both of them as friends in the space. And Hannah chose Ahsoka leaving the Order from Clone Wars, and that was another great scene. And then I had Grayson on to do another great scene in Star Wars, just 3 real tearjerkers back to back to back with Kanan's death in Rebels. And Grayson and I had been friends prior to that. Like Grayson said, we had been. I at one point one of their videos popped up on my feed, and at the time they didn't do video; they were just audio. And it was like their second or third episode, and I was listening to their stuff, and I was like, these guys know how to talk about Star Wars, and they're incredibly eloquent, and they don't sound like a football coach talking about Star Wars. So I was like, they're people I want to know who they are and be friends with them. So ended up Grayson and I became friends, and Cole, and then we did Tales, like Grayson said, our book podcast where once a month or once every so often, about like anywhere from like 4 to 5 times a year at this rate, we break down a book, a Star Wars book, and we kind of do like a book club. And then in 2024, that's when that last episode came out with Grayson, and then I just started continuing to make my own content. A lot of news stuff, a lot of the same stuff that I do now. And obviously, Grace and I were friends during that time too. And before Celebration, like every like 2 months, I would text Grayson and be like, "Hey, I have a new idea of what I want to turn this podcast into," and he'd be like, "Okay, that's sick." And then I wouldn't do anything with it for like a month, and then I finally, like right before Celebration, like maybe like a month before Celebration this year, I was like, hey, I really want to bring back Determined Focus. I had missed doing live episodes of a show. I miss like the community aspect of Star Wars. And truly, like Grayson said, like after the Acolyte, which I thoroughly enjoyed, the thing that I did not enjoy about the time of the Acolyte was everybody else being a bozo on the internet about it. And I took a pretty considerable break after that where I was just like, I need to realign. And after that, started continue making content at the beginning of this year, went through a big move, whole new career change. So like a lot of personal life stuff. And then, like I said, right before Celebration, I was like, hey, Grayson and I basically have a podcast every day in our audio messages and texts. So I was like, hey, should we just do this? And he was nice enough to be like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we've been doing this every week since.
Yep.
So, and truly, it's not like, look, there are a lot of like podcasts where people are like, you'll hear the hosts talk about like, hey, I didn't talk to you this week because there's something going on in Star Wars, or there's something going on in blah blah blah, whatever the medium is or whatever the focus is of that podcast, and they only talk like during the recording, and then they wait to like check up on each other. Grayson and I there are like three people I text. It's my mom, my wife, and Grayson. So truly, like we have there's like 7 other podcasts that we could probably run daily outside of the stuff that we do every week, or like interviews and other content. So yeah, it's been a blast. When was Celebration? April. So
just over
yeah, it's
6
been,
months.
yeah, it hasn't even been a year yet. So, which is crazy. And it's interesting too. Like it was like a year after that first episode of Determined Focus, which I had done with Connor,
Yep.
had come out, which I didn't even plan to be like a year separated from that. It's just a weird a Will of the Force thing, which I hate that that's my name and I can't use that as a slogan anymore. Because it makes it sound like I'm just choosing to do something. But yeah, and honestly, I would think the only other thing that there is to say is my favorite quote from Star Wars, and I think my favorite lesson from any movie medium story is your focus determines your reality, from Qui-Gon Jinn and Phantom Menace. And also Jod Nana Wood in Skeleton Crew says it. But that's my favorite lesson in all of Star Wars. And I think any lesson in Star Wars, it's easy to draw a line back to that lesson. Another one that I really enjoy, and I know Grayson enjoys as well, is the greatest teacher failure is, and I think that is easily drawn back to your focus determines reality. But however, we were able to turn that into a podcast name in Determined Focus, and at first I was like, is this even a good name? But the more you hear it, the more it grows on you. So
Yeah.
that's kind of yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize you were wearing that shirt, dude. What's up?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Dude, is it comfortable?
Yeah.
I don't have that one yet, but
You still don't have a Focus Squadron one?
no, I haven't gotten one yet.
I got a
I don't even have a
patch
hat
too.
yet.
I have a patch too that's gonna go on my jacket.
The patch
Heck
is
yes.
sick. The
Yeah,
patch
dude.
is sick, but I have to get our own merch, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, you know, you're talking about how you don't just talk to Grayson when you're recording, and I'll be totally honest with you, that shows, and I think that's part of what makes your show so enjoyable. You know,
Yeah, I mean, we try and
you can tell.
Yeah, we try and like look, truly outside of Grayson and like our few other friends that we know in the creator space that we're talking to, at least for me, like if something happens, I'll be like, oh, I wonder what Grayson thinks about this. And it's nice to like, obviously we're friends and we live in 2 separate places across the country. So like being able to see each other face to face where it is digitally, it's nice to like be able to have a conversation with somebody. But truly bringing back Determined Focus and like doing a live show and merging those 2 things from like pre-recorded and then also doing a live show, it's the best because people like yourself are in chat and we get to hear other people's opinions, which is truly my favorite part about Star Wars to begin with, and why I started content creation is I at the time when I had started, it was 2023 or like very end of 2022 when I had started posting specifically Lego content. But like the reason I started doing this stuff is because I was like, I'm really just talking to my wife about this stuff or the wall. So I can at least
Yeah.
like put a video out and see if somebody else will have an opinion on this,
Yeah.
which it's Star Wars. So usually
Yeah.
people have 1 to 1,000 opinions on one very small thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I started doing it. But now having the live show to bring it back to that, it's great to have a small community right now, but a place where I know people are going to come in and give their opinions, whether or not we agree with them or whether they differ from ours or whether they agree with our opinions. I mean, Grayson and I don't agree on everything all the time. I've known Grayson long enough at this point, and we've talked long enough at this point that I can probably guess what his opinion on something is going to be if there's something that comes up. But yeah, I mean, it's great having the platform to be able to
Yeah.
talk to
Yeah.
other Star Wars fans. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that was my biggest thing with starting this show. I was like, I just want to talk to people about Star Wars.
Yeah.
If
Right.
if I post it and other people watch it, fine. If they don't, I still got to talk to cool people about Star Wars. So
Right.
it's just kind of it's kind of a win-win. And I just watched your scene breakdown episodes with both Grayson and Hannah
Oh, really?
Oh, heck
a
yeah.
a couple days ago.
There's
Those are fun ones.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we've even talked about possibly bringing back some of those scene breakdowns and a casual.
Yeah, we want to.
Yeah.
Like because they're a lot of fun. They kind of give a narrative reason as well. There's one that I really want to talk about after some recent news, but I'll keep that shelved for now. But yeah, like it's also like Will and I, we talk so much about not even just Star Wars stuff, but like we're both huge comic book people, and so it's like there's always something that we're talking about, and I think we've found a good flow of being able to like text about something and then be like also like we can have a more like kind of give our initial thoughts and we can chat about something and be like also remember this because I want to talk about it. And we usually end up when we do stuff on stream, we end up dissecting it even further, but it's not like, hey, don't talk to me until Monday. It's like
Yeah.
that is not what
Yeah.
we do. But yeah, we like our little corner of the Star Wars fandom. It's fun. We've met
Yeah.
a lot of really cool people. And we're lucky to have a lot of people that actually listen to our stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Which
really
is crazy.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and going off of what you've built through your content, even since I met you guys in August at Rebel ScumCon,
Yeah.
which we're going to talk about in a minute, you guys have gotten to do some really incredible things. I mean, Grayson has been to Lucasfilm since
Yeah.
August. You
Yeah.
both got to go to LA Comic Con.
Yeah.
You've been posting all your interviews from Rebel ScumCon. You've gotten to interview some authors recently. I mean, and that's just in the last few months. Do you
Yeah.
guys have a highlight from all the experiences that you've gotten to have since you started doing this?
That's a good question. Well, honestly, two come to mind. Um, one one is the obvious answer. The other one is kind of like my more like we'll say genuine answer. The obviously like going to Lucasfilm was insane.
Yeah.
That being said, it's one of those things where I'm like, I never fully can like take the most credit for it because it was not a direct invite. It was an invite on behalf of Nick, codename Fulcrum, who is also another great creator in the space.
Yeah.
And that's not for me to be like to say that I'm like ungrateful at all. I am so
Yeah.
thankful that I even got to go there in the first place. But and to hang out with so many people that I am that lucky enough to call friends and people that I've met through doing this in the past 2 years. I mean, I have a lot more close friends now because of it. So going to Lucasfilm was insane. That was a lifelong dream, and I hope to get to go again one day. And I hope our show grows enough that it maybe becomes a little bit more regular. But if that's not the case, that's fine because at the end of the day, I love doing this, and that leads me into getting to talk to Matthew Stover, someone that I truly didn't think I was going to have as good of a conversation with, not even just on camera, but off camera. I mean, we spoke for those days for at least a solid hour about stuff that even wasn't just Star Wars and writing and being an author. It was like life journey stuff. And he's someone that I have now the utmost respect for. And when I got that deluxe edition just last week for Revenge of the Sith, I saw it up there. I was like, is that it right there? Um, Will, do you even have yours yet?
I don't have mine yet.
Ah, okay. I'm about to order it for him. It like I picked it up and there was like an emotional attachment that I had to it where I was like, wow, like, okay, I've met the guy who wrote this. I can hear him talking about these things and knowing what he went through and the type of person that he is and how genuine and endearing and personable he is and how much he loves Star Wars and kind of just like what his natural love of Star Wars and what that the brought him in terms of opportunities was very inspiring to me. And I look back at that interview and getting to meet him very, very fondly. And again, while I've done individual content for some time without us doing determined focus, I don't think that would have been possible at all. None of these opportunities would have been possible if Will and I had not been doing determined focus for these 6 months. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
again insane the opportunities and the connections and the places that we've gotten to go, and next year will be even crazier, hopefully. Yeah, so Lucasfilm and interviewing Matthew Stover were both very fun personal memories and opportunities for me. And you know what? I'm not going to say this because I have a feeling Will is going to say it on behalf of both of us, but those are my two. Those are my two.
Oh, now I
Will,
feel pressure to think of what you're gonna say.
If you don't say it, I'll definitely say it because you're gonna have the same sentiment. But
I mean, truly, mine is probably Rebel ScumCon.
there you go. You nailed
Okay, sick.
it.
Like the opportunity that we were given through Dante at Rebel ScumCon, and then also Tucky, Josh, and Bobby, who run Rebel Scum, is like that was an
Yes.
incredible. Like we are eternally grateful for that. That was like, I mean, I know Grayson is this way too, but like truly, my goal with when I started creating content, even before, was like I have always wanted to be some form of like interviewer, like press junket, uh, hosting panels. Like I've always wanted to do that, and as much as I've always consumed those content, like from like SDCC and Comic Con and stuff like that, I've always been really interested, not just in like, oh my gosh, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doom, but like who's on stage asking those questions. And I've
Yep.
always wanted to be in those shoes. So the opportunity that we were given, especially just to like talk to people who have been in and helped shape the world of Star Wars that we love so much, and
Yep.
have been in so many of the reasons why we love Star Wars and have been joyous and stood up and cheered about Star Wars or cried over Star Wars, rather because we're sad or happy about it. To be able to talk to so many of those people within the span of 3 days was insane.
Yeah.
And then like the highlight of that for me was like being able to host the Force Unleashed panel
Yep.
with Sam and Dave Collins, which is like those two guys are heroes of mine among heroes of mine. Like, and Sam Witwer specifically, of like that he was always my white whale of like if there was ever somebody I could like talk to in Star Wars, he's always the guy who I wanted to. And somehow I was able to host that panel and be on stage with him, and as well as Dave Collins, who is also just a
Yep.
genius and a pillar at Lucasfilm and Skywalker Sound. So I'm eternally grateful for what Rebel ScumCon gave Grayson and I over this
Yeah.
past year. And we look, even if next year we're just there as guests, I will be singing the praises of Rebel ScumCon forever. When I have kids, I'll be like, yeah, this convention, you were not there for year two, but it's truly like that will be a highlight of me doing anything Star Wars related, and even just like career wise, wanting to do stuff on camera and off camera.
Yeah.
Like that was incredible, monumental for both of us.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely and to piggyback off of what you said because I failed to mention this. Like you mentioned some of your heroes being like Letterman and Conan, and it's funny because one of those I never really thought about that for myself as well, but growing up, especially going into middle school into high school, like watching talk show hosts and watching specifically, I really wanted to get into video game journalism when I was younger. People like um, publishing journalists like IGN and GameSpot and Game Informer, like those were my people. Like I would, for them to be able to interview these developers and the people that are in the games and making the games and all of this stuff, and then also that transition into movies and stuff, and of course, naturally, Star Wars. That was always something that was big for me, and so then that kind of naturally transferred over to Star Wars when I went to Celebration in 2017, seeing people like Anthony Carboni and Andy Gutierrez and now people like Christina Ariel and Kristen Baver and all of those people that get to talk to Star Wars people. I have such admiration for those people because they are fans and they are so good at what they do and they love Star Wars, and that is something that Will and I very much echo. And so yeah, with Rebel Scum, like Will mentioned, Dante and Tucky and Josh and Bobby, like we are both grateful that, well, first of all, we are such huge fans of them and what they do and the monumental feat that is organizing a convention like this. But now we are, I'm equally as thankful that they are also fans and friends of ours, and so like Will said, if even if we just got to be guests and that would be amazing, but we did not as of when you were listening to this, but very recently we did some of the kind of opening announcements of Rebel Scum Con year 3, August 7th to the 9th at the Frisco Convention Center.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, it's been awesome, Rebel Scum Con, and of course I will absolutely annihilated it when it came to doing that panel with Sam and with David. I was actually getting a tattoo as it was happening, so I was like missing it actively. And I remember rushing in on the side. Dante was kind of up there in the very front, kind of getting photos and video. And I remember catching that last 15 minutes and just being like, dude, this is awesome. Like, this is so good. And then later that night, even though I was completely, utterly exhausted, Dante sent the Dropbox link to the recording, and I was like watching this immediately. I need to know how this played, and I just remember sitting there and being like, "Dude, this was incredible." So, yeah. Rebel Scum Con.
I mean, personally, I'm biased to Rebel Scum Con because I've been friends with Bobby and Josh in particular for almost a decade now.
Wow.
Being local to the same area as them and the show. And then I've known Kentucky and Dante for a few years as well. So I'm personally biased to Rebel Scum Con. That is like my home base con now.
Yeah.
But I want to let's talk some more about Rebel Scum Con because we can't ever say enough good things about Rebel Scum Con. And Will, I'm actually gonna play a little bit of a TikTok that you posted.
Oh no.
About Rebel Scum Con.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning of this month, I got to high-five Sam Witwer, speak to so many incredible people who helped bring Star Wars to life on screen, and hang out with friends old and new, all thanks to Rebel Scum Con. The platform Rebel Scum Con gave creators like myself to show off their passion and fandom for Star Wars in a place that was safe, entertaining, and welcoming, was unlike any event I have ever been to. Heck, I got to watch Skywalker Sound legends Matt Wood and David W. Collins sing karaoke in Huttese in a room packed wall to wall with Star Wars fans just like myself at the virtual Cantina's Boonta Eve event. But I would have never been able to realize those dream moments I did without my co-host Grayson on Determined Focus and the incredible team at the helm for Rebel Scum Con, Josh, Kentucky, Bobby, and Dante. They are the best in the business. I cannot thank them enough for trusting me with the interviews, helping out on some of the marketing, and being able to host a few panels on the main stage. When I started making content, people like Brandon Davis, Davis, Coy Jandreau, Christine Ariel, and so many others were and are inspiration for how a nerd can turn their passions into their own lane that they carved out. And I was lucky enough to take some steps to live out the standard that those creators that I mentioned and so many others had set at Rebel ScumCon. There are a few moments in your life that while you are in them, you have the awareness to realize that the sounds, the smells, and the emotions you feel while you are living in that moment, you are going to remember 30, 40, and 50 years even down the road. And that happened for an entire weekend for me with all of the wonderful experiences I had at Rebel ScumCon. If you are even a little on the fence for Rebel ScumCon Year 3 next year in 2026, I cannot stress to you enough how worth it this event is. Whether you just became a fan yesterday or you were literally handed a lightsaber right out of the womb, Rebel ScumCon is a place for every fan to showcase and celebrate their fandom for Star Wars. I truly can't thank the team at Rebel ScumCon enough for allowing me to be a small part in the absolutely outstanding event they ran this year at Rebel ScumCon Year 2. They are the best at what they do, and the event was so great because of their hard work and passion for the Star Wars community. Like I said, I cannot thank the team at Rebel ScumCon enough, not only for the kindness they showed me, but for the love that they showed the entire Star Wars community at Rebel ScumCon Year 2. May the Force be with you, and always remember, your focus really does determine your reality.
Gosh, I hate hearing myself talk.
But
I don't.
You know, that,
I like hearing you.
Oh boy.
that kind of reiterates everything that both of you just said. But I mean, I'll give you guys a little bit about that weekend for me.
Yeah.
Because you know, Star Wars. You know, I have friends that will go see the movies when they come out, and they kind of casually watch the shows. But for the most part, Star Wars has always been kind of my thing. You know, and like I say, I've known Bobby and Josh for a long time, but they're always, you know, off doing their own things and everything like that. And I had my Instagram page for a little while, but I was just kind of posting really randomly. And you know, that weekend, and I'm going to pull up this picture. You know, meeting so many of the
Will
so
looks
many...
insane, by the way.
God. Oh wait, Tony made it too. Look at Tony's in the corner
Oh
there.
my gosh, Tony's just walking by.
That's funny.
You know, meeting so many of the creators that you watched and looked up to, and I actually have to thank Grayson for this picture because this was right after the content creator panel on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to Grayson, and I was like, I'd love to get a picture of everybody that was on that panel. And everybody was like immediately starting to scatter.
Yeah.
And Grayson was like, no, I got you. Hold on. And like went around.
I had to yell at Will like 3 times to be like, Will, get here.
Dude,
Come here, Will.
Honestly, I'm going to be so honest with you. After close to 2.5 hours on stage, I didn't know where I was. My brain, I lived out so many dream moments in 2.5 hours, and also was like the pressure of running a main stage room full of all of those people, and then like talking about like after that, if somebody was like, hey, you have to pass away now, I'd be like, oh, thank you. I cannot wait to be gone, because I almost turned into a Force ghost at that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it like just from a creator perspective? What was it like to be in a place that was so, you know, so welcoming to create? Because there were so many creators, not even just the ones in this picture, but there were so many creators at that event. Well, you know, because for me, that's what really lit the fire under me to say, okay, if I'm gonna do this, now is the time.
Sure.
You know, what was that like for you guys, just to be in such a content creator friendly environment?
For me, this is so. I have the worst imposter syndrome of my life, like you know, of anybody's life, because I am constantly like, I shouldn't be here. This is not where I'm supposed to be. Why am I here? How am I here? This doesn't seem right. I have not worked hard enough for this. Blah 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 blah. That's just me being 100% transparent. And at first I felt like that, and sometimes I still do, but with Rebel Scum, a lot of that dissipated because a lot of the creators, these are people that like I have watched online for years prior to even me doing content and probably prior to even Will doing content, you know. Like these are people that have shown up on our feeds, whether they're spinning a lightsaber, they're doing Star Wars skits, they're doing an unboxing, they're showing off their cosplay, literally whatever it is. Um, and now it's like it was weird because Rebel Scum, all of that like kind of I mean, I'm still hugely reverent of them, but these people became my friends, which was insane. These people are
Yeah.
people that I'm like, oh, I can just casually text them and probably like within a couple days because they're obviously very busy people get a response and not
Yeah.
even just talk about Star Wars, but just to be like, oh, how's life, and so
Yeah.
that's the biggest takeaway for me is these are people I'm like I think a lot of people forget that yes there's the creators and there's the creatives in Star Wars and we are all just people and the reason we do this like I said is because we love Star Wars and we love talking about it and showing that off and so not even yeah like everybody who was on stage but even beyond who weren't on stage um like Will and I are lucky enough to call friends
Yeah.
and mutuals in the space and it is I mean, this is what Will and I have said the entire time is like it was just an entire weekend for one to us to geek out about Star Wars, but also to just like hang out with people that we only know online. Because
Yeah.
every single person in this picture is in completely different areas.
Yeah.
And so it was like, hey, here's this hub in the middle of the country for 3 days where we all get to just be Star Wars fans and we get to be friends and we get to
Yep.
hang out with one another. And that is what I am most excited about because we've since gone to various conventions where we have run into people on screen again, but Rebel Scum is unique because everybody's going to be there, and the amount of people that weren't at year two that Will and I are friends with that would be like they couldn't quite swing it to make it to year two. They're like, I will be at year three, and so
Yeah.
the pool is just going to get even bigger with people that we are friends with. Um, I mean, and it's just crazy. It's like there's the whole saying of like if you to be clear like this is not determined focus is not our job or anything but it's one of those things where like we do it because it's fun and people always say like oh if you love your job you don't work a day in your life sort of thing and it's one of those things where it's like while this is not a job this is like if you love what you do it just feels so natural right and
Right.
so to be able to go to a Star Wars convention to meet everybody and there to be just kind of like all barriers are broken and we are just friends and we were getting to talk and that's kind of how it feels with the celebrities too like everybody is so
Yeah.
genuine like to be able to talk to David Collins for like an hour straight about just like Republic Commando and Force Unleashed and Andor and even stuff that he's not in just things that like he's a fan of too is a crazy unique experience that I've never felt anywhere else and I think Will would second that as well
Yeah.
so there's a long way of saying Rebel Scum Con is a very unifying place. We'll say that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it is truly like I was so stoked about it for year two going up to it, and not even just from the perspective of like I was lucky enough, and we were lucky enough to like be involved in it in a small
Yeah.
way, but like I I love going to conventions. I'm not really somebody who like goes out and does stuff a lot.
Yeah.
So conventions and stuff like that, it take an event it takes a lot for me to go to an event.
Yeah.
I really have to be like sold on what it is. And that could be
I'm with you.
anything. A, a birthday party, a dinner, a convention, whatever it is. I 9 times out of 10, I start off by saying no and then have to be convinced as to why I should be there. But something like this, I was bought in immediately, and I cannot stress how excited I am for this convention to continue growing. And truly, like I can't believe we watched that whole thing of me talking like that. But I cannot stress enough how that sentiment is just incredibly concrete for me for year 2, but also for every year coming up. I cannot wait for what's to come for this convention, and I want to see it only get not necessarily bigger, because sometimes the biggest convention doesn't necessarily mean it's the best convention, but I think it's only going to get better from here, knowing the people who are at the top, and honestly throughout the volunteer staff and the people who work on it. Like, these are all people who don't only just care about Star Wars, but care about putting on a good event for people at a convention. And I think that the love of Star Wars mixed with the Venn diagram of one side being loving Star Wars and one side being we care about people and wanting to put on a good event meets in the middle, and that's Rebel ScumCon. So I can't wait for can't wait for next year. I wish honestly, I love Bobby. Grayson and I get a lot of memes from him. I talk to Bobby through memes probably every 24 hours. And I text him and Dante and Tucky and Josh all the time, where I'll be like, can Rebel ScumCon be every day, or at least once a month, or at least once a week? And can it also be tomorrow? Because it is truly it's such a fun event, and it's because of the people within the four walls of the convention not only putting it on, but the people going, that it's just it's the best.
It's
and
I was gonna say one last thing is, like, it's now that we got to do that announcement, like, just yesterday as of recording this. Like, I am someone that, like, when I get kind of emotional after an event like that, or probably because I'm tired and I'm running on fumes, but also it's like, man, this was such a great weekend. Like, year 2 or year 3 is like 9 months away, and I cannot wait.
Ugh.
I'm like, oh, that is way too long. Like, how is it? Like, go. I needed, like Will said, it needs to be every day, every weekend, every month. Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it was a really impactful weekend because I now have Star Wars friends.
Yeah.
And not only am I looking forward to year 3 because I know it's going to be amazing from a actual convention standpoint, because I know it will be, because I know the people running it. Now I get to add the extra layer of I get to see and hang out with all my friends again.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a giant Star Wars party, man. It's crazy. Like, everybody there is just there for Star Wars, man, and it's awesome. Everybody's
emotional.
And I mean, and just to be able to call people like the two of you and Gabe and everybody else, just to be able to say, you guys are my friends now is just is and you talk about getting emotional, and I'm trying not to, but it was a really impactful weekend in the terms of giving me something that I didn't have before.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that, because if I keep going, it's just gonna get worse.
That's a very, very pointed way to say it. Yeah, but I completely agree, and I think it's super cool that it's an inspirational place for people. Someone like you who prior was not consistently doing content for that to kind of light a fire in you, like you said earlier. So it is a very special place for Star Wars fans and for the community. That if you are not there at year 3, what are you doing, bro?
There's absolutely like, quit your job, go to Rebel ScumCon.
Yeah, like we have a friend who's getting, I think, married like the very next weekend, and he's like, I'll be there.
Yep.
He's
gotta go.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys did get to help announce not only the dates for year 3, but two guests.
Yeah.
Which was really, really cool to be watching that last night. Do you guys, not with what you've already announced, do you have anything or anybody that you hope to see at year 3? If you could pick, one person.
Oh, Grayson already knows my answer.
Anything come to mind?
I know Will's answer, and I definitely second it. Gosh, There's so many. The thing is it's like Rebel Scum used to kind of have a rule where they wouldn't have repeat guests, but that's kind of since gone away a little bit because the people who are part of Star Wars, the celebrities, the behind the scenes, they loved it so much that they're like, "Hey, I want to come back. I
for
better
good
be
reason.
back."
For
Yeah.
good reason. Like
Yeah.
like the community. Every time we interviewed somebody and we were like, "Hey, how's the con going?" And like we were at a convention a month prior, and people were like, "Hey, how's the con going?" Everyone was like, "Yeah, it's great, yeah." But like at Rebel Scum Con, people were like, "This is so much fun to
Yeah.
be able to like talk to people."
Yeah.
Obviously, these people want to talk to those celebrities because they're making Star Wars, which is their favorite thing. But like to have good interactions with those people and for everybody to be first off safe, but also respectful and also enjoyable and agreeable during those times is it's it's the best. And
Yeah.
for us to be able to like interview and like check in and like, hey, how's stuff going? And like talking to somebody like Simon Cassianitis of like he's
Yeah.
somebody who I've wanted to meet for a long time in Mando, but like, dude, there are so many guests that they had this year that I'm like, okay, these are all the guests that I want for next year, but also have all of the same people there from last year
Yeah,
because I
dude.
just want to see them again. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're all people. And there's nobody, look, sometimes when you meet celebrities, sometimes you get big timed and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much." And they sign the thing and then they get it and they just get it on my face.
Yeah.
But like there was not one guest at Rebel Scum Con who was like that.
Yep.
From our experience and from a lot of other people's experience, everybody who we talked to and got to interview and got to get stuff signed from, especially like, dude, all the ILM guys, like
Yeah.
it's just like from being in Star Wars as a character to being able to build the foundation of what Star Wars ended up becoming is like the range is all over the place. It is truly a Star Wars convention, and it's the best. I will say, my number one guest for next year, who Bobby, Josh, Tucky, and Dante. If you're listening, you already know this because I text you all the time that this is what I want. But Aman Esfandi is my list.
Oh,
Dude, I want to meet.
yeah.
I want to meet Ezra, dude. He seems like such a
Oh,
bro.
you never met him?
I know I've never met him.
You never
I've
met
never
him?
met him. I want to meet him.
He's really cool.
He is a
I've met him. I've met him once.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy. I didn't get a picture with him, but I did. I just went up with a friend who was getting something signed, and I met him, and he is a joy. I have a pipe dream, and I think I'm not going to hold my breath. Here's what I'll say. I'm going to give a short list of people that I want to come back, and I know Will is going to agree with every single one of these people. Obviously, we want everybody back, but these are the ones that like rapid fire. I'm like, man, I would just love to see them again and chat with them. Marty Matulis, you had him on your show.
Yeah, Marty.
I did.
Marty is great. Diana Lee Inosanto.
Oh my God.
I love her. I miss her.
She's
and
the best, dude.
she's the best. Omid Abtahi,
Yeah.
also a great guy. One of the very first people that we got to interview back at Fan Expo Denver.
Yep.
And ran into him again, and he immediately recognized me, and so he's a super nice guy. Noshir Dalal, Boda Kuna, and Vice Admiral Rampart from Bad Batch. He's awesome. I love him. I am such a fan of him, even beyond Star Wars. So I'd love to see him back. Michelle Ang is the sweetest woman alive. I love her. She's super nice. We had a great interview with her. Omega, for people who don't know. But my absolute pipe dream, and I hope through the Mortis gods, or whatever it is. I would love for Cameron Monaghan to be there.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
I'm lucky enough that I've got to meet him, and I've waited a ridiculous long time to meet him, and then he actually showed up at the Lucasfilm Rebuild the Galaxy event, which was just insane. That I was like, oh my gosh, he's here. This is crazy. But I am such a Fallen Order Survivor fan, and I am such a Cal Kestis fan that I would love to meet him. And honestly, like, he did a lot of the conventions, what they call the Fan Expo circuit. So things like all the Fan Expos and MegaCon and stuff like that. And those were very big, and he's a pretty introverted guy. He's an incredibly nice guy, and he is a trooper for doing that. But I would love for him to come to Rebel Scum, and I think a lot of people would love to meet him, and I think he would have a good time. Hopefully, yes, Will.
One that Grayson and I both did not say, who I feel bad that we both did not say, and I apologize for, is Manny Jacinto.
Oh, dude, Manny, bro, dude, yes, absolutely.
Need him at
Dude,
Rebel Scum.
I know his line would be through the door, bro.
He is like having the stranger. Look, we are both Acolyte enjoyers, Grayson and I. We both very much enjoy the Acolyte. And we were able to meet Manny at Fan Expo Denver in July of this year. And he is so dang cool.
He's the coolest guy, bro.
So cool. Grayson and I like were giddy like schoolgirls. We were at a panel that he was on, and I got to ask a question at the panel. And after the panel, he pointed at Grayson and I, and he was like, hey, and we were like, let's go. We know Manny Jacinto. Like, he's such a cool dude. And obviously, like, look, they are celebrities and they are bigwig people, but they are also just people. And like Grayson and I got to give him the Acolyte visual guide. He didn't have it at that point, and he hadn't even seen it. And we were able to like go to his table and be like, "Hey, did you see this yet?" And he was like, "No." So we were able to just go to Barnes and Noble that night and then give him one, because he should have that, because the character that he plays is literally the entire front of the book.
Yes, literally his mask plastered on the front.
Yeah. So I had one. I got that signed. Grayson got a poster signed. But like, truly, that is somebody who is on my list.
Manny is a great pick, dude.
I would love for him to be at Rebel ScumCon. Truly,
yeah.
To piggyback off of everything that you guys just said, Manny would be awesome. Iman is fantastic. I would love to see him again. Cameron shares a name with me and is the only other ginger in Star Wars that I have ever seen. So would love that. Marty Matulis has been on my show. Yep. Actually, thanks to you guys' show is what started that conversation.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
He was on y'all's show, and I like posted a picture and tagged all of you, and he liked a bunch of my stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna send him a message.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And that's what got him on my show.
So he's great. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
All of that would be fantastic. Yeah. I would love every single piece.
We've already got some pretty strong first two announcements with Paul Lee and Ray Park, of course.
Yes.
Carson Teva and Darth Maul. So pretty crazy stuff. And there's things that we kind of know, not concretely know, of course, being friends with all of them, but regardless, it is going to be even bigger, even better.
It's going to be a great year.
Do not miss out. And it's the place to be, man.
Yep.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you guys, because shifting gears just a little bit off of Rebel ScumCon.
Oh, wait, before we switch from Rebel ScumCon, I should also say Grayson and I do not work for Rebel ScumCon. We do not. We are fans.
Nobody here.
We are fans. We are friends with the people who run Rebel ScumCon, and we have been lucky enough to work alongside them and them give us opportunities to collaborate with them. But we don't make any money from Rebel ScumCon. We do not work for them. We are not employees. We are just fans of what the convention does. So if anybody is to watch this or anything we post about Rebel ScumCon and go, oh, they're probably on payroll. This is a paid advertisement. No. It is not. We are truly just fans who cannot shut up about a fantastic convention and my favorite convention that I've ever been to.
Will and I truly, this is just this is the way we are. If there is something that we are repping, if there is something that we are speaking praises of, it is because we are genuinely fans of that thing.
Yeah.
So and that is just the same with Rebel Scum. We do these interviews and stuff because they allow us to, and it is to help them out and to help get more exposure for them, but also because we are fans of Star Wars and we are fans of them. So, we are not the amount of people that came up to me like, oh, you work for Rebel Scum. I do not. We do not work for Rebel Scum, but honored that you think that, but that it's just because we love it that much. So, Yeah.
I reiterate everything that you just said. None
Yeah.
of the three of us, no Rebel ScumCon shills here. No,
I'm a shill. I'm just not paid. You know,
I'm a shill. I'm a free shill.
You're a free shill.
Yeah, I make no money. I'm a bad shill. I'm not good at being a shill, but I will talk about them forever.
Well, I wanna ask you guys, because one of the, we've talked a little bit about how you guys like the Acolyte and like Skeleton Crew and are big, defenders of that. I will say that one of the first, I don't remember which episode it was, but one of the first episodes of Determined Focus that I watched really solidified the fact that I was like, I'm gonna be friends with these two, because one, y'all defend Solo, which I love.
Solo rules.
Solo's on.
I'm vastly in the minority among people I know that like Solo. So when y'all were like, "Yeah, Solo's awesome," I was like, "Yep, okay." And then another thing that y'all have been recapping on the show for a couple weeks now, the Ahsoka series.
Of course.
That is one of my favorite pieces of media, period. So to find other people that are like obsessed with it like I am, I was like, yep, these two guys think about Star Wars the same way I do.
Yep.
So I appreciate that. But I want to talk to you guys about the Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
If y'all want to talk about Ahsoka.
Sure.
I mean, Will could sit here for 8 years and talk about Ahsoka.
It's really not hard for me to talk about Ahsoka. So it's actually harder for me to stop talking about Ahsoka. It is truly. I mean, it's literally on my desk. It's one of the only things I keep on my desk. But it's the steelbook for season 1. Like it is my favorite Star Wars show. My favorite Star Wars movie, Star Wars project is Return of the Jedi. But right under that is Ahsoka season 1. It is truly. It is the best.
And of course, I have to. I think I have a big soft spot for Ahsoka because that's kind of that show was coming out when Will and I met. So it's like it was kind of like this. I was like, this guy knows ball. Yeah, So But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
No, that's fine. I'm curious. Do you guys have a favorite moment from season 1?
Oh, one moment, dude.
Yeah.
What is yours, William?
It's super. I mean, it's easy, and it's probably it might be your favorite moment as well. It's our buddy Luke's favorite moment as well, but it's Anakin's Force Ghost, and not just because of Anakin returning as a Force Ghost. I love Hayden. I'm so happy that he got to be a part of that show, and he's going to be in season 2. I'm so happy he was able to return, but like what that meant for Ahsoka's character and the music and the way that scene looks, and just that portion of seeing Ahsoka smile, and then Sabine and dude, it is so good. That moment, that is my favorite. About
the very end of the show.
The very end of the show with Anakin's Force Ghost is like look, I have so many favorite moments. I would say directly under that is when Ahsoka throws away the saber just like Luke does. And that's what brings just like Return of the Jedi, which no question about it that I love Return of the Jedi, and of course I was going to love this moment because that's my favorite moment in the movie. That's my favorite moment in Star Wars, period. But like her throwing away the saber and then that being what brings Anakin back, like eventually to not being like dark side Anakin, but like he has the face turn and he comes back and his eyes are blue again. Like that moment right under there. And then, dude, there's so many other moments too, like Huyang's like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Like that's so awesome. Ahsoka like hugging Ezra of like coming back and like pausing and they just had this big battle and then just being like, and like her putting her hands on his face of being like, he's back. We have him. It's been so long. Like there are so many great, or like, dude, I talk about this moment with Grayson a lot, but like Hera, like
it was
going
one
full
moment.
Sorry. Or like Hera being like going full mom mode on Sabine of being like, hey, like we're proud of you. Like I know Ahsoka might be like hard on you, and you guys butt heads a lot, but like you're doing a great job. And like she's like, thanks, mom. Like
that's
that
what sold me on the casting. That's what sold me on the casting for Hera, 100%.
Yeah, there's 30 of my favorite moments from Ahsoka, and I have 30 more. So Grayson, what's your favorite moment?
You listed none of. I mean, those are all some of my favorites, but I have completely different 3. I think.
Can I guess? Can I guess what your top one is?
Try to guess. Yeah.
His number one moment is Jason hearing the lightsabers in the waves.
That's a cool
number
one.
2.
That's number 2. Is the first one Jason saying, "Can I be a Jedi?"
Oh my! They're not all Jason, bro.
Yeah, they are.
Could be. No,
Was that number 1?
No, number 1 is something else.
I don't know.
You did get the number 2 though. Jason listening to the waves and being able to transfer that to his mom, and then of course immediately after being like Huang being like his father.
Speaking of Paul, who's going to be at Rebel ScumCon, has one of the
I
best
love
lines
that.
after that of being like, his father, Kanan Jarrus, is a Jedi. He's one with he has the ability to chat with the Force. And he just walks off.
Yeah. Okay.
He's like,
is that the one that Tiara made?
Yeah,
dude, that is so sick.
Dude, this sweatshirt is goated. It's champion, bro. Like it's nice.
Dude,
that's really cool.
Yeah. So my number 2 is Jason being able to hear the conflict between Ahsoka, or the vision, the trial that she goes through in the World Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Which kind of just ties into the World Between Worlds in general. So I'm gonna sandwich in there with number 2. My third favorite is Huang. My number 3. Oh, all right. Yeah, well, I'll have an honorable mention. So my honorable mention is Huang basically going full Batman.
I didn't even think of that. Oh,
yeah, dude,
no.
Yeah. And him analyzing Balin and Shin's lightsaber and being like, Shin's I don't recognize, but Balin.
Oh, that's so good.
It's so good because we are Huang stands over here.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Ezra with Huang building his new lightsaber, and he has the piece that is an identical twin piece emitter to Kanan's lightsaber. My number 1 moment was because it was the moment that I absolutely went ballistic on the show, and I was like, I need more. Is Balin standing on the palm of the statue of the father, and looking out to the blinking kind of lights in the distance. That is my number 1 moment because I was like, oh my god, we are getting more stuff with the gods and the Mortis arc, and it is literally my name. That is some of my favorite stuff in Star Wars. Is anything that it gets trippy and mystical with the Wills or the cave on Dagobah or any type of vision. I love stuff like that. I love when Star Wars embraces the time of knights and dragons, as Sam Witwer said, and we will slap that button. And Will and I
don't have it. I don't have a Sam Witwer button. Sorry.
Sam Witwer. This is so geeky. So that's my there's my little platter of Ahsoka moments. But it's also just so fun. Like the duel between Ahsoka and Balin, kind of in the Cetos Stonehenge, her taking out Marak, her and the ruins on Arcana, kind of pulling Indiana Jones. The battle, the stuff on Lothal as well is awesome because to see that in live action, and yes, of course, Anakin's Force Ghost looking proudly and fondly over Ahsoka on the encampment on Peridia. Bro, Thrawn coming back aura farming on the Star Destroyer, dude, with the banger theme by the Kyners, dude. Oh my god, it's just gosh,
so
dude,
good.
So between both of you, our favorite moment is the entire show.
Pretty much.
Everything in here is my favorite.
Yeah.
Dude, that artwork on the back, I know the front is great, but on the back of that, dude, with a Sabine and the poncho.
Yeah, I need to get that.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah,
one of the best ships in Star Wars of all time, the T6 right there. You got Balin and Shin on the back, dude.
Dude, I've kind of come to this consensus.
Just aura farming like that, dude.
Bro, yeah, you see a sick unorthodox Jedi with a green lightsaber, and I'm like, yep,
that's me.
Yep, dude. I've come to the consensus that anytime I see the T6, I know it's going to be a good Star Wars story because I read that recent issue of Tales of the Nightlands #1, and Obi-Wan and Anakin's 13. They go to Ryloth, as like representatives of the Republic, and they're in a T6 shuttle. And
Sick.
that comic issue was awesome. I was like, dude, this is some of the coolest Star Wars I've read. So yeah, T6 goated.
I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that when they go to Mortis, they're in a T6.
Are they in a T6 or are they in a ETA class shuttle, which is what Balin and Shin have?
Yeah, I thought it was one of those.
I thought it was. Oh, maybe it is.
They do.
No, maybe. Yeah, no.
They
maybe
use
you're
it.
right.
They use a T6 in another Clone Wars arc.
Okay, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, but no, they're in the same ship that Balin and Shin have with like the bubble and like the 3 wings.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was?
Which is also not insignificant, and I also really like that ship too.
But yeah, I mean, so staying with Ahsoka, like what because Balin and Shin are like two of my favorite new characters that have been introduced.
Yeah,
what's either a character or a plot thread that what's the thing about season 2 that you guys are looking forward to more than anything else?
Grayson, go first.
I mean, well, I already said it. Mortis God stuff, anything. I'm so glad as saddening as it is that Ray Stevenson is no longer with us to continue playing Balin. I am glad that they did recast and got Rory McCann to take that mantle forward, because I think that is a character that deserves to be told. And knowing the type of person that Ray is through interviews and the way people like Diana Lee speak about him, I think there's no way in the world that he wouldn't have wanted that character to continue. And because like that is the type of storyteller and actor that he was and the type of person that he was. And so as much as I would have loved Ray to continue that, I'm glad that the story is continuing. Balin is one of my new favorite characters in Star Wars. Like I go so back and forth. He's awesome. He's so cool. He's such a different, unique type of dark force user. He's so much more nuanced. From his costume design to his dialogue to his lightsaber to his fighting style, everything about him is so cool. And so I am deeply interested. The entirety of season 1, where I was like, man, I'm excited to get the Thrawn and everything. By the end of that season, I was like, I just want more Balin.
Yeah.
I just need more of that story
100%.
told. And so that is what I am absolutely the most excited for with Sabine and Ahsoka and Hugh and Balin. Whatever's going on with them, I'm here for it. Will?
Yeah, I mean, Grayson and I both agree that our favorite part of Star Wars is like the weird woo-woo part of Star Wars, where it's like, oh, the Force spirits and the wills and all of that stuff. Like that's where Grayson and I are like, when that stuff comes up, we like sit forward in our seats.
Yeah. It's like Heir to the Empire when like with the Force Ghost of Ben, and then also Dagobah, where like immediately I was like, nope, those are Will and I's favorites. You know?
That's the stuff, like anything Force Ghost related is like that is the stuff that I like chomp at the bit for more in Star Wars. I think outside of that, one thing that I'm just excited for is hopefully we get a full, I mean, not a full because he won't be there, Kanan won't be there, but like for everybody else who's still around for the Ghost crew, like a full like reunion of the Ghost crew, knowing that hopefully Zeb pops up in the series, which I'm pretty sure he will. But like Zeb and Ezra and Sabine and Hera and Chopper, like having all of them, and Jason, like having all of them together, I think is going to be really cool. I'm such a nut when it comes to Ahsoka that literally anything that gets added onto her story, I will eat and love and be super stoked for. I think outside of that, one thing that I'm really excited for season 2 is I really, as much as I might be dreading it, I think we may see an end to Ahsoka's story, at least as like her passing on from like the mortal realm in this series. There's a lot of people online, I know Grayson and I have had this conversation, who are like, there's no way Ahsoka's making it out of Ahsoka season 2, where like in the form of Ahsoka as we know her, where she is a creature, she's a person who is no longer alive. She is one with the Force. She is a Mortis god, whatever it is. I do not think we see her that way. But the biggest thing that I'm excited for in Ahsoka season 2 is just for Dave Filoni to just Filoni all over the place. Literally, like seeing his concept art for what that first season turned into and what it looks like where he's going for season 2, knowing that I've been like, that is my favorite like niche in Star Wars, is like going into old Filoni art and anything that Filoni, I know he doesn't do it often now because he's an incredibly busy guy, but like Dave doodles are my favorite thing in Star Wars. So anything that pertains to that, and for him to continue this incredible journey that at any given point is the best character in Star Wars, in my opinion, outside of Luke Skywalker. I just am super excited for whatever Filoni feels is best, and for him to go with his gut, and for him to continue telling the story of this character that we have all loved for an extremely long time.
Dave knows ball, dude. Dave knows ball. It's the more I see of like, obviously we're huge Dave Filoni fans in general, but it's like and I'm sure you agree, Cameron, as well, that like, it's like he just like understand, like he somehow like the things that he makes, I'm like, yes, you know, and the things that he like, even him being like fan of the Acolyte, you know, or you know, things in and the sequels that people are not fans of that he enjoys, and as of recently, you know, I'm sure Will and I will talk about this a lot more on our upcoming live stream after this is out, but even the fact that he and Kathy greenlit the Ben Solo movie, right? Which was something that was like they were all in on, and I'm like, dude, he gets it. I think he's a big Andor fan too. I mean, how could you not be? Like it's like Will said, to be able to Filoni all over the place. Is going to be
Let Filoni.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm 100% with you. I mean, I also have the theory that I don't think Ahsoka makes it off Peridia, and honestly, I don't think Baylan makes it off Peridia either.
Probably not.
I think everybody else will be fine. Shin, Huyang, Sabine. I think they all end up coming back. But I'm totally on board with, you know, Ahsoka becoming the daughter and Baylan becoming the son, or whatever they want to do. Or, you know, which I know is a popular theory. You know, what, you know, and I'm sure I know that you guys have lots of theories, and I also have lots of theories. But what is what's the wildest theory that you guys have for season 2?
The wildest theory.
Because I mean, I've heard people say Natalie Portman is going to be back as Abeloth, and I'm like, that's insane.
That, I mean, listen, I don't know if that's something that they would do. It'd be crazy if they did. Here's three. I'll give you a solid 3 that I'm not confident will happen, but like if they did, would be really sick. And I've talked about these before, and so I'll continue to share the same rhetoric. The first one is, yes, the Abeloth thing. I would love there to be some kind of external, cosmic, crazy force threat, and to expand that mythology. So that would be really cool, especially if like Baylan and Ahsoka had to team up to like stop it in kind of a Luke and Darth Krayt sort of way in Legends. So that is one thing. Whether Natalie is playing her or not, I have no idea, but that'd be a really cool, interesting way to, of course, thread Hayden into the mix, because we know he will be in it. That is confirmed. What was the second one that I'm completely blanking on right now? I'm gonna table it because I forgot what the second one was. The one that I think would be coolest and craziest is, I think it would be insanely sick, and I just remembered the second one, so I'm gonna wait for the third one. If they confirmed my delusions of grandeur that the father was Revan, even if they just said his name offhandedly and said nothing else, because that is a theory that I have kind of died on for a little while, is that based on what is presented in the Mortis arc in Clone Wars, it is very heavily implied that he was some sort of Force user from the Old Republic era. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
The last one is I would really like Ewan McGregor to return, not as Clone Wars Obi-Wan. I know that's a popular theory, and would that be cool? Sure. I would rather him be Force Ghost Ben.
Yep.
I would rather see him and Hayden together as Force Ghosts.
Yep.
It's funny that you say that, because I think, well, actually, at Rebel ScumCon, I think the three of us were all sitting upstairs when that quote that he had at whatever con that he was at, that he was going to be in Ahsoka season 2.
Oh,
hit
yes,
the internet.
It got
I think
misquoted that he was like,
Yeah.
that people were saying like he was going to be in it. He was like, no, I'm not. Like he had to like correct himself. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still. I mean, he's talked about it so much, and of course, him and Hayden are such good friends. And you know, I think. Listen, if they found a way to make him put him in the armor like he wants, that would be sick, and I am not going to complain at all. But I'm someone who Will and I said that we love the Force Ghost stuff. I would love to see, you know, kind of an older age Ewan as Ben with that Ben Kenobi voice alongside Anakin.
So you want to see him doing the Alec Guinness?
Yeah, dude.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm someone who I am always of the belief that these based on the timeline stuff that you know, I'm such a big believer in getting someone new for Luke Skywalker, for a young Luke Skywalker around this time frame that we are in. We've already got Alden. We've already got someone like Billy Lord who could play Leia, even though she's already in Star Wars.
Having this conversation with somebody today.
Yeah, it's like it is one of the three things that Will and I just talk about constantly, and so it's the same thing with Ewan, where I'm like, listen, they got him to do the lines for Force Awakens, speaking to Rey. Let's get that full fruition. Let's get him in the robes. Let's give him the white and gray hair. And like, I mean, at the end of the day, like the scene that I probably want maybe this doesn't happen in Ahsoka. Maybe this happens in Dave's movie or something. I don't know, but I want it to happen in live action. It needs to happen in live action is for Ahsoka, for Force Ghost Anakin, for Force Ghost Obi-Wan, and for Luke Skywalker to all be in the same scene together. And hey, maybe put Leia in there too. Put them, make it this, because those are all such tangential characters. Of course, Obi-Wan trains Anakin, and they are brothers. And Ahsoka was such a part of that trifecta. And then, of course, Luke and Leia being like that. Whatever that needs to be, even if it's the briefest scene possible, I would eat up immediately. And if you're gonna do that, where there is a nexus of Force energy, why not do it on some place like Mortis or Peridia? You know? But
yeah, dude, that sounds awesome. I would freak out if they did that.
So bad. Hey, put Force Ghost Yoda there too, and Qui-Gon.
Just put them all.
Yeah.
Just make it. Every Lego Force Ghost character.
It's gonna look like that panel from Rise of Skywalker. Just everybody. Yeah. Just with them standing behind
that. Bro, if you brought, I know he's never gonna do it, but if you made Freddy Force Ghost canon, dude.
Well, that's actually so obviously. So my number one was Force Ghost Ewan. Will always be my number one. Grayson and I have thought that for a very long time. Would love Clone Wars. Kenobi, would love Ewan in the Clone Wars armor. Some sort of flashback, whatever. I think it's kind of like at this point, if it popped up on screen, I would be thrilled, but it's not something where I'd be surprised about at this point. I think it's more likely to happen rather than not for Ewan's involvement in Ahsoka season 2. The second would be some form of look. It's not hard for me to say, oh, if you could have anybody in Star Wars show up in the Ahsoka series, it'd be like Luke Skywalker. But yeah, that's who I would love to see, Ahsoka and Luke, and that somehow happen. I mean, if she's not getting off Peridia, I don't know how that would happen, but whatever. I would love to see some sort of return for Yoda. I think the more that I've thought about Ahsoka, and I've thought about like Ezra meeting Yoda in Rebels, and then Ahsoka having that scene in Rebels, where she like turns around and Yoda just kind of like smiles and waves, and Ahsoka runs out of the Jedi Temple. Like, I would love for a Force Ghost Yoda to pop up, kind of like he does in Last Jedi. I would be thrilled if that was to happen. But then one that I don't know if Grayson and I have talked about, but is very related to Grayson, is I don't know how it would work logistically. It would probably have to be some Mortis portal, world between worlds, whatever. But somehow Ezra and Jason and Hera, all three of them going to, maybe it happens on Lothal, but like Jason getting to meet the Loth Wolf of Doom, of like
Yeah.
them going into a cave. Maybe it's like Ezra and Jason and they're out on Lothal. It's like, this is where I trained. Like that kind of thing, and they're just swinging around lightsabers, and they walk off, and Jason hears something and runs off, kind of like he did in Ahsoka season 1, where he hears the waves and he goes into a cave, and Ezra is like, he's not really realizing where he is at that moment, but then he remembers where he is, and it's just like the Loth Wolf walks out, and like Jason puts his hand on it, and like Ezra also knows, and that's like Kanan through his non-Force Ghost way, but like him being like, yes, you have passed on the torch. You are a Jedi like your father before you. Like, I think that would be insane. I know Grayson would be in tears. I'd be in
Dude,
tears as well. But
if that was the way that Kanan knighted Ezra,
that's what I'm
dude,
saying. Is like,
Yeah,
I really would love that, because I do think that as much as this is the Ahsoka series, more for Ezra's character and like his growth, because he wasn't in a lot of season 1, and he's obviously going to be in more of season 2. Mary Elizabeth Winstead has said that that there's going to be a lot more Hera in season 2. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more of Amon in season 2, a lot more of the Ghost Crew. I would love that, and I think look, obviously, everybody refers to Ahsoka season 1 as like Rebels season 5, which like I love as a fan of Rebels.
me too.
And I would
Yeah.
love to see more from that, but like that's probably my like pie in the sky. Like, if I could pick something, it'd be any of those three. I would say out of likelihood, I would go like Ewan, Loth Wolf Doom, and then Luke Skywalker. Obviously, Luke Skywalker is like, there's 30 other things I could think of, and then Luke Skywalker, where I'd be like, oh, maybe he'll show up. But if I do have to justify Loth Wolf Doom showing up, Dave Filoni loves wolves,
yeah,
and he will always do something wolf related, all the way down to him drawing concept art of Ahsoka riding a giant wolf and then giving them the howlers on Peridia. Like,
Yep.
that 100% happened. He had drawn that years prior, and then he made it a reality. There was no other reason for them to have that in there other than Dave was like, what if they had a big alien wolf like thing for them to all ride into battle? Like,
Yeah.
there's always going to be something wolf related, and Dave also loves using the characters that he's built in his sandbox. So yeah, I would say that's something that I would be floored to see, and I would love
Yeah.
to see.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I mean, it is the Ahsoka series, but I mean, it is so much connective tissue to not only Rebels but Clone Wars.
Yeah.
which I think is why I like it so much,
Yeah.
because again, like we were talking about at the beginning, that was our kind of era of Star Wars, especially Clone Wars. So
Yep.
I mean, everything that you've said, I think it's a no-brainer that Ewan is in there somewhere in some way. I would love to see him as the kind of more Alec Guinness type, because I think
Yeah.
Yep.
I love the idea of recasting, Luke and Leia, just so we can
Yeah.
use them more than what the deep fake can keep up with.
Sure. Yep.
Because I
Yep.
think all it can keep up with right now is standing still and reciting dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I want to see the Ghost Crew all on screen together. I think they may hold that until Dave's movie.
Yeah,
But
maybe the fact that
it's gotta happen.
The fact that Zeb is most likely going to be in season 2 post, I guess, Mando and Grogu movie, it leads me to believe that it would happen. But we've also not really heard a whole lot about Dave's movie because he's been working on it. So I guess it just kind of just depends on, I guess, the Mando movie, but also where Ahsoka season 2 leaves off. I guess.
Yeah.
So
as long as everything happens in 9 ABY, we'll be okay.
We got to move on to at least 10. You know.
Honestly, who knows? With this season, it very well could be. Very well could be.
Busiest year in Star Wars, bro.
Yeah. We definitely won't go there because the timeline conversation can take us in a whole different direction.
Yeah.
You know, y'all have kind of hinted at it a little bit, but I'm curious. Do you guys have a Mount Rushmore for characters for you guys just personally, just in all of Star Wars? I know you've hinted at it a little bit, and I could probably guess both of yours.
That's interesting because we've done top 5s, but I've not done a Mount Rushmore for myself. Like I almost feel like that's a little different.
I feel like I could guess a couple of them for both of you.
Here's the thing. Here's what we'll do. Let's. I'm gonna, and Cameron, you're more than willing to help me out. I'm gonna guess for Will, and then we'll see if he corroborates that. So here is the 4 that I think for Will, and correct me if you think differently. Of course, I know Will pretty well. I was about to say it's got to be Luke, it's got to be Ahsoka, it's got to be Qui-Gon, and it's got to be Yoda. Those are the 4 that
I definitely would have guessed Luke and Ahsoka first. Those would have been the first 2. Just knowing you guys from your show and just having met you, Luke and Ahsoka definitely would have been the first 2 I threw out.
It's hard because all 4 of those I'm like, yeah, absolutely, but it's really hard for me not to have Cad Bane on mine.
That is true. That is very reflective of like a bad guy. And also Maul is.
I was going to say, I was like, it's very hard for me not to have Maul on mine too. I don't know. That's. I mean, yeah, I'll go with that. It'll probably change in 20 minutes.
So Luke, Ahsoka.
I'll go with those 4. I'm not necessarily the happiest that you know what? Honestly, I'd probably swap out Yoda for Maul.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe I swap out Qui-Gon for Yoda. I don't know. I want Maul on there somewhere.
It's also like
Qui-Gon named your show.
I know.
That's the thing where it's like Qui-Gon is your guy, and you can't not have Ahsoka and Luke.
Ahsoka and Luke are not going anywhere.
Yeah,
they're basically one. Here's what I'm going to do. Ahsoka and Luke are one head. Because that is truly how I feel. That like if somebody asked my favorite character, somebody DM me about this like this morning, and they were like, "Hey, can you do this thing and like, can you list your favorite character and what's your favorite Star Wars character?" And I was like, "Okay, sorry, I'm gonna have to break the rule. Ahsoka and Luke are my favorite character in Star Wars."
Is it just Luke with the
that would be crazy. Luke, but he's orange. That would be insane. So that's one head, and then
Ahsoka with a bowl cut.
But it's the Disneyland bowl cut. Maul, Qui-Gon, Yoda. So my Mount Rushmore, because I have canonically said that my favorite character in Star Wars is Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano. That is one head. Qui-Gon, Yoda, Maul.
Okay.
And then Cad Bane is like flying around, like giving everybody the finger or something.
Yeah.
Well, I know at least the first head on Grayson's.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's not even a question.
Okay.
It's Kanan.
Kanan, Luke. Kyle Katarn.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Kanan only.
Kanan's on mine too.
Okay. Kanan's good.
Now I'm like probably I know Kanan and Kyle Katarn. Luke is one that I know has been more of a recent for him that he's like kind of gone back and forth on, where he's like, oh yeah, no, Luke is great. He does the same thing with Ahsoka. I want to say Han is probably on his. Look, if I was ChatGPT and I was like, what's Grayson's Mount Rushmore? It would probably be like Kyle Katarn, Kanan, Han Solo, and Luke. But then I'm also like, he really loves Ben Solo and Kylo Ren. I don't know if Kylo Ren is on his Mount Rushmore. However, he does love Kylo Ren a lot. And Ben Solo, I love Ben Solo a lot too. But just that character he really enjoys. I think that's probably the 4: Kanan, Kyle Katarn, Luke, and Han, if I have to guess. Look, if we're doing like legends, like I know Mara is probably somewhere in the list. And then knowing Grayson, he's going to do some weird one where he's just like, well, actually, my favorite is like, as of this morning, I was thinking about it. My favorite is
Yeah, I'll say this.
Oppo Rancisis. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Terra Sinube.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, so here's the thing. You got pretty dang close. Cameron, do you have any alterations of that, or do you have something that
I mean,
I forgot Cal Kestis.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if Cal's on his Mount Rushmore. But he does deserve an honorable mention.
Yeah. I definitely know Kanan. Because
Kanan is my Ahsoka and Luke for Will. It's like you can't not have him on there.
I mean, I was there when you were getting your Kanan tattoo.
Oh, I forgot Mando. See, Mando's a good one too. Mando is probably on there. Grayson has so many.
I have a lot. Okay.
Grayson's is a really hard.
I'll give you a freebie. It's probably not Kyle Katarn. I love Kyle Katarn.
Really?
Probably.
That's surprising to me.
I love Kyle, but there are characters that I think he's kind of one of those characters that it's like he's cool, but he's kind of just like, because you got like, I'm not saying that he is on here, but I like more realistically probably would put Cal over of Kyle. Just in terms of like when it comes to describing me, because I think Cal has a more interesting story than Kyle. Kyle is kind of like, here's literally Star Wars Chuck Norris, you know?
Yeah,
and
it's a video game character.
He's a video game character, yeah. I'll say that. Okay, here's what I'm thinking for myself, but I'm also having a really hard time not putting 2 characters and one that you already mentioned. So, Kanan, I think Luke has to be on there for me. Because Luke was like my favorite character as a kid.
Yeah, I figured.
Recently, like anything that I consume, like if Luke is in it, it immediately shoots up. So Kanan and Luke. These last 2 are hard because I'm teetering between 3 or 4 different characters. I'm teetering
this is
between.
How mine usually goes.
It's like it changes, man. It changes. If Will gets a split, then I feel like I should get a split.
No,
whatever.
You don't have a canonical split.
Whatever. Ben Solo, Kylo Ren has to be on there.
Wow.
Has to be. Wow. So it's interesting because Ben Solo, I was a bigger fan of him. And then because I was a fan of him, I got more into Han, where I was like, oh, I really like that father-son relationship. There's so much of Han in Ben sort of thing. But I do think Kanan, Luke, and Ben have to be on there. Now, my 4th is hard because it is down to Han, Leia, and Din. But also, I'm like the stranger, you know? It's like, but then I feel
I'm really surprised Mara is nowhere in this.
Mara is great. Mara and Starkiller are like kind of the like, they're like really up there.
This is like a top 10.
I think if I read more Mara content, because like I've only read the Thrawn trilogy, but I haven't read her like individual books and like her comic yet. Kanan, Ben, Luke. And it's like, do I put no? As much as I love Ahsoka, I don't know if she beats out these other characters. I can't not have Han on it, bro. Oh my gosh!
You also literally texted me today that Lando is a top 10 character for you.
Lando is goated. Lando is awesome. That's the problem, is because I made a top 10 last week, and I'm like,
Oh, dude, I went so crazy when that stupid Empire magazine list came out. I like rethought my entire process on who my favorite characters were and ended up like creating a tier list with like 300 characters in
But
it or something ridiculous.
Will and I at some point want to make a top 50.
Yeah.
Like, but like
I already did. I'm looking at it literally as we
You
speak.
oh wow.
Dang, dude.
Will and I would be sitting. We would be like deliberating. Like, well, I think this is 37. He's like, no, they're 38. You know, it's like
I'll send you my tier list because it's got 300 options already loaded.
Is it a tier list or is it a numbered list?
Mine's a tier list, but I just put them in order on the tier list,
okay.
going that you know.
Oh wow, you put them in order on the tier. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
But I'll send you the link to.
So
my
like
list.
1 being like the closest to S is like that's your number
Yeah.
1. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But I mean, mine is Maul, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Kanan, and then right outside it like hovers between Luke and Vader.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Vader is also one where I'm like, yeah, of course. I just think weirdly enough, I think Vader. It's like hard for me to put him up there because I feel like everybody loves Vader, and I'm like, well, I got to be different a little bit, you know. Like,
I also like as much as it is the Skywalker saga, I've always viewed like Vader and Anakin not necessarily as like the main character. It's always been like, how is Anakin and Vader the same person? How are they affecting the entire story?
yeah,
Which
yeah,
is like
yeah,
why that is the Skywalker saga rather than like, because like when I'm watching Ahsoka, but I'm also thinking like, oh, if Vader was to pop up right now, what would Ahsoka think of that? Like that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
that's how I view
it's like,
Vader.
It's about the characters, but everything is frameworked around Vader.
Yeah,
almost,
he's
where
like
it's
if it was a tree,
Yeah.
he'd be like in the center.
It's like I
Yeah.
feel like the most like the main character he is in episode 2 and 3, but even
Yeah.
then it's like
Absolutely, episode 3.
Obi-Wan is so much of that story, and then it's like
Yes.
you get to 4, 5, and 6, and it's like he's not the main character. But
No.
the story is about him.
Yep.
It's like and even with like Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff, it's like
He is obviously the catalyst for all of Star Wars,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I've always liked and I don't remember where I saw this, but I always heard somebody say the prequels are about Obi-Wan's story. The OT is about Luke, and the overarching story is Anakin Vader.
it's
Yeah.
honestly like
it's a good way to think about it.
it's interesting though because it's like episode 1. It's like Obi-Wan's not even the main character. It's like
No.
it's like or episode 1 is so weird because it's like is Qui-Gon?
Truly, like
Obi-Wan?
I know 1
Yeah.
through 3 is like referred to as the prequels. They are the prequels, but like 2 and 3 are so much of it, and even Clone Wars. It's like it's so much of like, okay, this is the story, and then episode 1 is like that's what I would refer to as the prequel. Like episode 1 could have been an entire like prologue to the story of Star Wars, and then the book would start at Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
That's how I view
Yeah.
episode 1.
I could see. Yeah, I can totally see that.
I've seen people talk about like how like theoretically like if you wanted to chop it up like you could well I think it's crucial like you could almost start you could cut out a lot of episode 1 and like you could literally just like start with the Duel of the Fates fight
Yep.
and throw you right into it and be like what's going on and realize like oh my gosh like this is the but I think it is so I think it's so essential to be able to see Anakin as a young boy and I mean come on brother pod race is sick also it's like
Yeah.
so
And the more Qui-Gon, the better for me.
of course, yeah. Like you lose all of that, and we need more young Qui-Gon, please. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna have to go with my gut. Is I really want to put Leia on the list, but I think it's got to be Kanan, Luke, Han, Ben. I think that's what I'm gonna go for right now.
Dude, I nailed that.
I mean, other than Kyle Katarn,
I mean,
you
y'all-
pretty much you did like the rotation of characters, like from Cal to like Mando on a good.
I'm surprised Mando did not make the list.
Like
to be
after
truly
the
honest.
movie, it might be like get out of here, Ben
Yeah.
Solo or Han. But I'm like
Yeah.
like for the longest time, Ben and Kanan were neck and neck.
Well, again, this is why we're friends. I made my top 50 list and showed it to one of my friends, and I had Mando at number 10 and he was surprised.
Wow.
And I was like, "Why?"
Now, is this
He's
is
like the
this
face of
list?
Star Wars now.
It is true. Now, for this list that you made, is this your personal top 50, or is this like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, it's my personal top 50. It would be kind of hard to make it without any kind of bias in it at all.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I would say it's my personal.
Yeah, I always that's what like Will and I kind of do is of like we have to like okay, if we can just go full bias, what would we choose versus like okay, if we have to like think about the whole of a fandom. That's why we do all of like the rankings and stuff, because it's like it's fun to kind of take ourselves out of the equation and try to influence. Use the other influences and voices. But it's kind of an impossible feat because the Star Wars is so vast.
I was gonna rapid fire ask you some other of your favorites in Star Wars, and the first one I have written down is lightsabers. But since you both have lightsabers tattooed on your body, I feel like that I can easily answer both of those questions, being Kanan and Luke's V2.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a different answer?
Yeah.
The only other one for me is Ahsoka's katanas. I also really love Ezra's V2.
Yeah, that's the same thing for me. I'm like my 1B and 1C is the Luke V2 and Ezra V2. So like when it comes to lightsabers, like Will and I are like literally on the same like these are goated, you know.
The only one that's like kind of a curveball that is like a top 4 for me that I don't think is very high on Grayson's is Dooku's.
Yeah. I like Dooku's Jedi better than his Sith.
Yeah, I love Dooku's.
I mean, Luke's V2 was the first lightsaber like toy that I ever owned. It was the first lightsaber that I ever got, so I'm like personally very attached to that one. But you guys have, I think I know Will's favorite vehicle is probably the T6, but Grayson, do you
favorite vehicle or favorite ship?
Let's just go. I mean, either.
Favorite thing that you fly / ride?
I was about to say I'll do vehicle.
Favorite mode of transportation that's not living.
I really love Coruscant's public transportation. I think it's really great.
I really love the Star Tours shuttles.
I've got one right on the other side of this laptop. So
those are good.
Honestly, kind of a great vehicle. Not gonna lie. Gosh, dude, I did actually. I filled out a thing for Will. You probably it's from shout out Jawa Den because he reached out to me. Yeah,
I did that this morning.
I said Bo-Katan's Gauntlet Fighter. That was what I put. I love her ship. Like,
dude, mine changes so much.
Yeah. See, that thing is, I'm also like,
is it not the T6?
I love the T6, but then I'm also like, I've always loved the Hoth snow speeders.
Yeah, dude.
I love those. If this was me at like 8 through like 14, I'd be like, yeah, that's my favorite ship in Star Wars. I love the T6. Oh, dang it. This is so hard.
You say the Ghost. I have the Ghost is sitting right here on the floor.
Dude, it's one of my favorites. I love that ship, dude.
I don't know if I can.
So many.
It's also it's like then you get to like capital ships, bro. Is that the TVC?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That's wow.
I wish I had that TVC Kanan so bad, bro. Oh, like
it's right there on the wall, and I got the one signed by Taylor, so I just need to like knock out the rest of them.
That'd be sick. See, it's like
but again, like for me, like I also love U-wings. I love E-wings.
U-wings, dude. Yeah, the Fondor, bro, is one of my all-time favorites. I'm a huge Fondor guy.
I love Grievous's ship too.
Oh, is it the Solus one?
Yeah, I love that ship.
I'm a huge fan. I've got it on my shelf over here. I'll grab it real quick.
See, mine. So mine. I love the Ghost. But then I also I was about to say the episode 3 Jedi Starfighters.
This is canon. This is canon. It is canon. There's a canon entry. It's in Lords of the Sith.
It doesn't exist.
Actually, no, it's in Tarkin that it's mentioned. Yeah, this is the Vader version,
That's actually one of the ones that I don't have that I want to get so bad because I have Anakin's and I have the blue Obi-Wan, but I don't have the Vader one.
Dude,
yet,
it's
and I
sick
want that
too
one so
because
bad.
it has the kill count on it, and it's like 5 other Jedi interceptors, and then 2 of the Attack of the Clone ones. So I'm like, bro,
Yeah, dude.
He's got more over here too. He's got more that he's taken out, bro. My God.
I also love the shout out to the Azure Angel from Gendy's Clone Wars.
Dude, the Outrider from Shadows of the Empire, bro.
Yeah. The specifically the Tiger Shark Arc 170.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grayson, for this thing. The Tiger Shark Republic gunship.
The LAAT, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I had to get this. I had to get this right after.
Let's go!
The fighters, dude. I love
dude.
those.
Shout out Marty.
Is he in there? That's sick.
Yeah.
Is that the Micro Galaxy Squadron?
Yeah.
Dude, I love those little ships, man.
It's like the only thing that they've made of Vane other than the Lego. And after I had Marty on my show, I was like, I have to have something of Vane on my show.
I love those little Micro Galaxy Squadrons. They're fun.
But let's see. Will, you already said that your favorite movie is Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
Grayson, what is yours?
Empire Strikes Back. It's my favorite movie of all time.
And then I know. Oh yeah, actually, I did know that because your letterbox told me.
Yeah.
And Will, I have to assume that your favorite show is Ahsoka.
Yeah, without question.
Grayson, favorite show, animated or otherwise?
Yeah, if we're including all shows, it's Rebels, followed very swiftly by Andor. Ahsoka. It's tough because like my top 4 is like Rebels, Andor, Ahsoka, Clone Wars. But
yeah,
Um,
I mean, as the Kanan Ghost Crew guy that I am, it's Rebels is my number 1 for sure.
Yeah, dude. Is Ahsoka season 2 the upcoming project that you're both looking forward to the most, or is there another one?
it's very hard to say because Maul Shadow Lord also comes out next year.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Next year. Yeah.
It's tough because it's like Shadow Lord. I'm like, okay, plot wise, I'm more excited for Ahsoka season 2 and those characters, but because we are such big Maul fans and Sam Witwer fans and animation fans, like
I cannot wait.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we're getting both of those in the same year.
It's bananas, dude.
Like, I'm like, yes, dude. Oh my god.
I already told Bobby that if Maul Shadow Lord is coming out at the time of RSC, we have to do some kind of like watch party or something.
That would be sick to get like a giant projector, like in one of the panel rooms.
I wonder what the logistics of that would be. That's actually.
Obviously, you couldn't record it or stream it or anything of that nature because
that would be
the Disney
like a
snipers.
watch along.
Yeah, like a watch party for anybody that's at RSC.
Dude,
if it's coming out at that time.
I know what would be crazy, and if it happens, it'd be insane. But if Sam comes back and does like a live commentary, like over it again, I don't know.
I hadn't even thought about that
at all, but that would be insane.
Dude.
What? Just crazy, right?
That would be bananas.
Even Ahsoka season 1, dude. If they had some of the cast from Ahsoka talking about like as
bananas,
they were going through,
bananas.
Like, Rosario, Ivana, I would love if Natasha showed up. I love Natasha. I love.
Yeah.
Dude.
But
of course,
Maul Shadow Lord, and Ahsoka season 2 are both like. Right. I mean,
it'd be crazy if they got Rosario. And Diana comes back. If they will the episode in Ahsoka or in Mandalorian season 2, if they did a live commentary of that.
Of
your favorite episode
Jedi?
of all time? Yeah, the Jedi, dude.
Yeah, I would explode.
Just give them lightsabers and a staff, and just let them.
Dude, if they could recreate the fight.
Yeah,
I'm blowing Will.
That would be crazy.
I'd explode.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we derailed that whole thing. We're
no,
very passionate about this.
Oh no, this is exactly how I wanted this to go.
Perfect.
But I know that, and I don't want to go on and on and on forever, but I know y'all both. Obviously, you can tell by looking at both of your backgrounds that you are both collectors. Do you guys have a favorite piece in your collections?
Will, what is yours?
I have the special edition VHS from my grandmother's house. So like that's the thing that I first watched Star Wars on. That's forever going to be my favorite.
As a collector as well, I had to throw a collecting question in there.
Yeah. No, that is 100% my favorite thing.
Gosh, dude, this is hard. I have so many.
I don't know if this is my favorite thing in my entire collection, but it is something I am super stoked about.
Oh yes, of course. Shout out the Saber Company.
Thanks to the Saber Company, I now have these, which was truly my most desired sabers after Luke's V2, which I've had for some years now. But thanks to the lovely people at the Saber Company from LA Comic-Con when we were there for gifting these to me because I needed these so bad.
Yeah, I mean, in recent news as well, they gifted me this one, which is in my top 5 sabers of all time.
Yeah,
nice.
Dude, the weathering on this is it's mint, bro. It's
dude,
freaking good. Favorite piece in my collection.
As a collector, I know that's like an impossible question to answer.
Yeah,
I have an answer that I typically give, but like it's an impossible question.
Honestly, dude, this is gonna sound weird because it's like it's not about the monetary value for me. It's the sentimental value for me.
Sure.
After meeting Matthew Stover, I think my signed copy of Revenge of the Sith is one of my all-time favorites because it says so he signed it, and then the next day when we did our interview, I was like, "Hey, I didn't want to like bog up the line, but like I know you did personalizations. Like, would you mind personalizing it for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." This was after the interview. There wasn't anybody lined up or anything. And so he wrote like for Grayson, thanks for the awesome questions, and then signed it again. So it's signed at the top and at the bottom, and then has that in the middle, which is
That's
really
sick.
funny. Also, Shadows of Mindor, my copy of Luke Skywalker, Shadows of Mindor, it says like Grayson, may the force be with you. It's signed by him. So those are two of my favorites again because he's like now my favorite Star Wars author. But if not for the books. This has a lot of sentimental value. Let me go grab it real quick.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know as a collector, I mean, you can only see part of it in the frame, but it takes up this entire room.
You've got a crazy setup, dude.
I know that's like an impossible question.
Yeah. This is one of my first NeoPixel lightsabers is this saber right here, and if you know Ball, you will know that this is actually the lightsaber from Republic Commando in one of the ventilation shafts.
I was gonna say clearly I don't know Ball because I have never seen that lightsaber before in my life.
It is a crazy obscure pick. I also got a custom blade plug for it because I love when there's a little like nodule kind of coming out. But I'm a huge fan of like bronze and copper on a lightsaber. And so or brass as well. So I've actually like dropped it a little bit too. So it's got some like homemade weathering basically. But this was one of my first sabers that got me into the collecting game, like high-end collecting stuff. And I think it's such a cool, unique design. So when it comes to my lightsabers, I really, really love this hilt. It's awesome. Now I have a whole bunch of crap on my desk right now.
Yeah, no.
I've got like a ship, and I've got like Kylo's saber, and
this isn't. I don't think it's like my favorite thing in my collection, but I've had this plush Yoda forever. Like since I was a kid, I got it at Disney World. I did not get it at a Star Wars weekend. However, my favorite thing about going to Disney was going to Hollywood Studios and seeing all of like the way Star Wars was set up there when it was set up that way, or like going to downtown Disney and like going to the toy stores and like going to the Star Wars sections and stuff like that. So I got this and I've had this on my desk. I brought this to college with me. This thing, it just stares at me in the face. Sometimes I put it on my mic, but truly if like the house was burning down, this is probably something I would grab from
Yeah.
collection wise.
I mean, I'll grab mine real quick, but like mine, if I were to have to run out of my house, it's on fire. I have to grab something. This is my hello, Savi's workshop lightsaber.
Heck yeah.
And just I don't know if you guys have done that yet.
Never.
I mean, honestly, and this is gonna sound corny, but the experience of getting to make your own lightsaber will bring you to tears.
Oh yeah.
It's something that I would honestly like. Will and I probably would love getting to do to have maybe for the inevitable set that we will have. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh.
And I've seen people do it, and every time I see like the clip of it of like Yoda popping up and it playing his theme, I start sobbing, and I'm not even in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, it's one of the first things I posted on my Instagram. I mean, and it's the other thing is this book.
I have
Yeah,
that
dude.
book.
So the cool thing about this book is I have over 20 signatures in here.
Whoa, dude.
That's sick.
Let's see. From just if I've met somebody with a lightsaber, their signature is in this
That
book.
is a really
That's
cool
really
idea.
cool.
I saw
But
Whoa, that's awesome, dude. Ashley's?
but Rosario.
No way.
I've
dude.
got Natasha and Iman. I've got Taylor Gray. Let's see if I can actually flip pages.
That book is low-key awkward to flip.
I've got Natasha and Iman together.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
Wherever the Darksaber is. I've got Tia, Giancarlo, Sam, and Katie.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's
dude.
sick to have them all on the same. Like
That's sick.
I got this, and Sam was actually the first person to sign in this, and I handed it to him, and it was right after it came out, and he had never seen it.
Cool.
And he was like, "Are you going to keep adding signatures to it?" And I was like, "That's the idea." And then I saw him again at Rebel ScumCon and had him sign it a second time, one for Maul and then one for the Darksaber.
Nice.
And I was like, "You were the first signature, and now you're number like 21." And he just wanted to sit there and like flip through and see them all. So this is
super cool.
having all of them together, like Matt Lanter, James Arnold Taylor, Ashley, Rosario, Ray Park. I mean,
you gotta get Cameron in there, dude.
I know.
That's sick.
I know. But yeah, so if I was gonna grab something, it's probably those two things. But
that's so cool.
Okay, the last question I have for you before we kind of wrap it up is this, and this one's gonna make you think a little bit. If Lucasfilm and Disney came to you and said any casting choice, any project, any decision about the direction of Star Wars, whatever comes out of your mouth in the next 30 seconds, we are going to do it. No hesitation.
Is this now? I need to set the premise.
What are you saying?
Is this only TV shows and movies and stuff like that?
No, it can be whatever you want. It can be, I want a comic book about this thing. I want a movie about this. This is a canon story or a legend story that I want you to make canon. This is a casting choice. You need to recast this character. You need to, whatever you want it to be. If they came to you and said, whatever comes out of your mouth in the next 30 seconds, there's no option to say no, we're going to do it.
I want you to say yours first because I don't want it to be the same thing because I know
I can let you think about it for a minute.
Okay.
I know I can say a few of mine while you think about it, but
I have a couple stirring in my brain, and I know one Will and I are very on the same wavelength about. And I'm curious if he's gonna say it or not.
So mine would be. It would be sort of like Tales of the Jedi or Tales, like the Tales, like those where they're little vignettes, but they would be longer episodes. if I get to do whatever in 30 seconds, they would be 7-hour-long episodes each, and there would be 400 of them. But it would be from Hu Yang, and it would be him speaking as a database through the history of his
Sick.
existence in Star Wars. And just cherry on top, I would pick episodes like Dooku, and it would all be like kind of like in Ahsoka, where he does the Batman, where he gets to like, and this saber, I've only ever seen one Jedi make this
Yeah,
lightsaber,
yeah.
like that. But it's like kind of based on like the characters that have built those lightsabers, and then they veer off into other stories like that, where he's still like a little bit of a historian, but it's while he is with Luke Skywalker, and Luke is the one who is trying to figure all that out. Through the history, so he's using him as like the closest he can get to like a living Jedi archive, where
Now,
he's like,
is this live action or animated?
okay, if we get to do whatever, I would say live action. However, I do think it would be, if I'm just able to be selfish, I'd be like, oh yeah, live action. But I'm also like, I really do think it would be better, and I would probably look. I'd love it either way. I'd probably love it more, and it would make more sense in my head if it was animation.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was gonna say something similar. I was like, obviously, I think you and I are in the same wavelength of like anything like Luke Skywalker, but like in animation would be sick. Got to shout out our friend Ben. Hello there, animation.
Yeah, dude.
He did a really sick Luke Skywalker animation on his. I think it's on his Patreon. I think he might have teased it on his TikTok as well. It might be on his TikTok too. So anything like that would be sick. I think that'd be awesome. For me, I've said this for years, and I think this is just me playing creative, but also businessman, and also finding out a good way for Star Wars to be prosperous in the theaters, and something that would be really cool and kind of capitalize on what people are into. I would take I'll say at the bare minimum, it could be 6 movies, but it realistically would be a trilogy, a trilogy that would be Old Republic, but it would be including elements from the Old Republic as we know it, in Legends, whether that is the Tales of the Jedi comic series, which I would kind of like it to have more of that aesthetic. I'd like it to feel older, but this would have this it also tell the story of Tar Vizsla. And what I would call this, it would be called Knights of the Old Republic, and then each movie would have a subtitle, and realistically, each one would be like uh, would be like something wars. So it would be like the first one would be like the Mandalorian Wars, and then the second one would be uh the Jedi Civil War, and then the third one would be blah blah. And so they would each be a specific series of wars, and these would the trilogy would take place over a minimum of 20 years, because ideally in my head, Tar Vizsla would be the main character of the second movie, not the first movie. The first movie would be from the perspective of a unique character. But like we said with the prequels, it would be telling the framework around Revan and the Mandalorian Wars and what's happening. And then the second movie would be from the perspective of Tar Vizsla as he gets introduced into the Jedi. And then the third movie would probably be finally from Revan's perspective. And it would be this big conflict between Tar Vizsla and Revan. And of course, either whether Revan dies or comes back to the light side, or it's kind of ambiguous, or becomes the father. Uh, it would what I'd want it to feel like this. I'd want it to feel like this beautiful like trilogy and saga that feels like Star Wars, but it's brand new, and you could go into it having no prior knowledge of Star Wars and feeling honestly kind of Lord of the Rings ish, kind of Game of Thrones ish, but at the most important aspect, feeling like Star Wars and being like, hey, you can bring your 5-year-old kid to this movie having never seen Star Wars, and it can be an entry point to Star Wars, and having an ensemble cast of different characters, and it taking over a period of 15 to 20 years. That's what I think would be the best, because not only would I think it create a brand new, fresh perspective on Star Wars, it would be a bold new attempt. I think people no matter you are a Legends or a canon fan, would be interested in hearing about the story, knowing that it is brand new. It would have new characters and familiar characters from the Old Republic stuff as we know it, while getting to tell a brand new story. And also, my hot take is that Revan should be actually, I go back and forth on if Revan should be a woman or not, but because Revan originally did not have an assigned gender until like the Old Republic game in 2010. But if Revan's going to be the father, I guess it would make more sense for Revan to be a guy. But anyway, that is my pitch. My other one would be a video game, but I'm not gonna. That's a whole other pitch that I'm not gonna worry about. I think I'd rather have the trilogy of movies that feels like.
Yeah.
I want it to feel like there are wars in our stars, and it is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And hey, put Huyang in there.
Yep.
Huyang, that's the good thing about Huyang. He can be anywhere and everywhere all at one time. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Guys, I could sit here and talk and yap about Star Wars with you guys forever. And hopefully I can have you guys on again at some point. Thank you so much for taking a little time to hang out and talk about Star Wars. It's going to be in the description, but let everybody know where they can find you guys and what you're doing, as well as Determined Focus.
Well, because Will never likes to shout out himself, I'll tell you, you can follow him at Will of the Forest _ on pretty much everything. Do it. Actually, if you only follow one thing, you should follow him. But realistically, you can also find me at Mortis FM on pretty much everything. But the most important aspect is you can follow Determined Focus on YouTube and on Instagram. I believe on Twitter we are Focus Squadron.
Yes.
Not Determined Focus. We do a show every Monday, roughly, as well as also release pre-recorded guest episodes. We do interviews. We do all kinds of different stuff. It's pretty fun. So, yeah, Will of the Force, Mortis FM, Determined Focus. That's the 3-pronged triangle right there.
Yeah,
that's how triangles work.
That's it. Yeah, Mortis FM, Determined Focus, and if you just need one more guy yapping about.
And if you're listening to this, you hopped over from Determined Focus over here. You should subscribe and follow Limitless Nerd, because
what Focus member are you? I have to memorize these, and I have not done a good job. Are you 4? No, you're 5.
No, 6.
You're 6.
I got it right.
You weren't 7. I knew you weren't 7.
I believe Cole is 4, and I know you are 6.
Yeah.
But I hopefully I would love to have you guys on again, because I could come up with 5 million more things to talk about Star Wars with you guys.
Great topics, dude. Great questions.
This was
awesome. Here for like over 2 hours. So.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate it so much. Go follow Will. Go follow Grayson. Go follow Determined Focus. Watch every Monday at, I'm blanking on the time. I know it's 6:30 for me, but I know it's not for you. So
it's at some point
7 to 7:30 Eastern. We're gonna see how daylight savings treats us. We might move it up a little bit. But around that 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
I know y'all are finishing up the Ahsoka rewatch soon. Anything exciting coming up for the show after that you want to talk about or tease? Or just more of the awesome yapping about Star Wars?
Well, the things that are most prominent that I can think of is one, Tales from the Archives with Beyond the New Sea is coming back. We will be back November 10th for that, covering Adam Christopher's Shadow of the Sith.
Yep.
Damn good novel. So you got time to go read that, listen to it, and be there on November 10th. That will take the place of that stream that week. We'll also be doing a giveaway of a couple copies. I haven't said that publicly yet, but we'll be doing a couple copy giveaways. One is signed and one is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, I think.
Good, because I don't have that book yet.
It's goated. And then literally right after that, the day after that stream's Master of Evil by Adam Christopher comes out, and we'll probably be doing that towards the end of December or the very beginning of January, depending how quickly everybody can get their copies and we can get it read. We have our normal streams on Mondays, and maybe after Ahsoka, maybe we'll go through another show that came out around this season, or that season, I should say, around the time of it in December last year, if because we really like it and we're thinking about doing that, but it's not confirmed yet. But I think it probably will happen, so you should stay tuned for that.
There you go.
And you should go to Rebel ScumCon next year.
Yeah, go
Yes.
to Rebel ScumCon next year.
Yeah.
Go to Rebel ScumCon. You can hang out with all three of us and so many more awesome and amazing people. Go follow everybody that we've mentioned, everybody that is currently on screen. Hopefully you guys will both be back on my show sooner rather than later to yap about Star Wars some more. Will and Grayson of Determined Focus, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us, man.
Until next time, do you wanna say the thing? Say your thing, and then I'll add my thing.
Okay, perfect. From all three of us, and specifically Will and I, may the Force be with you, but also your focus determines your reality.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you.